Hey guys, it's Andrea. I'm back with another Sew With Me for the Vintage Block Along by Lori Holt. Today we're going to be doing the Quilting Bee block. This is going to measure up at 15.5 inches. I really like it. I'm excited about this one. I'm going to link her blog down below, the link to this quilt along. And it has all the cutting instructions and everything for every block. So that's fantastic. Let's get started. I'm using, primarily for the quilt, I'm using the Lori Holt's, why can't I ever remember this name? Flea Market. That's what that is. But the backgrounds I'm pulling mostly, I'm pulling from my other stash. There's a lot of Bee Basics from Lori Holt, which that's what this is. I'm not always using her backgrounds though. I'm doing all scrappy backgrounds. Let's see. And this one though, I had to pull from my Farm Girl Vintage on this for this red because all the reds I had left of the other one were too short and I had to have 20-inch strips. And ignorant me was cutting off the ends of those for other blocks, so I made them too short. I shot myself in the foot, but that's all right. I got lots of Lori fabric to go around, so no big deal. Let's get started. Let me scroll back down to where she's telling us what to do. Okay. We're making half square triangles using the shortcut method. Which blocks? Uh-oh. She's not telling me which blocks. This is, her blog pattern's much different than her regular pattern. She doesn't label everything A, B, C, D, so try to use the same colors or you're going to get thoroughly confused because that's the only thing you're going off of. So I'm assuming it's these two, which are 4.5-inch squares. Put them right sides together and you can mark it down the middle. I don't know if I'll need to. Yeah, I probably need to. It's a little bit bigger than my Seam So Easy guide. So we're going to be sewing to the left and right of the center line. So I'm probably just going to actually draw on the sew lines. You can draw down the middle and just sew to 1/4 of an inch away from it, or just actually mark your sew lines. And then after we sew on the lines, we're just going to cut it with our rotary cutter down the center, and we'll have 2 half square triangles. Purring like a kitten this morning, eh, girl? She stopped pouting. How many are we gonna do? Yeah, if your Seam So Easy guide comes out far enough, you can just use this, but mine doesn't. What the heck? How many are we doing, girl? Just 2? I think we're just doing this. I think we're just doing this one. So I'll have to do an ender, pull that off. This pattern's linked down below in my description box too. It's Broken Dishes. It's my quilt on the side I'm working on. So just now we're just going to sew on the other sew line. I hope I'm not thoroughly confusing y'all. God, you scare me to death.
I tried to do this. Wasn't really good.
What's up?
All right, well, Gonna go see the new Spider-Man movie tonight.
What time?
7.
What time's it over? How long is it?
It's like 2 hours long, so 9 something.
Okay. Sure.
All right.
What time are we leaving? It starts at 7. What time do you want to be there?
Well, it's pretty popular, so I'm worried if tickets might get sold out. So probably about an hour early.
What?
Yeah.
On a Sunday night? I don't think they're going to get sold out on a Sunday night.
Mom, it's the summer.
Whatever. You can sit there for an hour if you want to.
Well, I could just...
Okay. All right, fine. Just come and tell me when you're ready to go.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Sorry about it. Okay, we cut them apart. Now she's saying grab the 3.5-inch square up ruler. So I'm doing that. Hold, please. Lay it on the diagonal line of the ruler directly on your. I love these. I love learning new stuff. This is new. This part's new to me. Okay, I've got my 3.5-inch square up ruler. I'm gonna lay the diagonal line of the ruler directly onto your stitch line, like this. Okay. So my stitch line and my diagonal are on top of each other. Trim all the way around, holding the ruler in place and turning your mini mat as you go. Luckily, I have all these things, right? Yeah, these spinning mats can be a godsend if you have something like this. I don't know if I moved a little bit or if I just didn't cut it real good. Press it open and repeat for the other one. Y'all, I just have so much fun doing her stuff, I tell you what. So much fun. I have never squared up a block like that with that technique before. So that's very interesting. There it is. We're squaring up again? Oh. She's saying you could always do it the other way. I'll show you the other way too. If that seems too complicated, just press open your square before you cut. Then you can square it up. She just had us do it showing us a different way you could do it too. I love that. I find it faster to trim first before pressing, she says, but you can also do it this way. So you can take your 3.5-inch ruler. Doesn't have to be a square up as long as it's 3.5-incher. Put your center line on your seam and then trim. Hold that ruler down pretty good because you do not want it slipping. Slip sliding away. Slip sliding away. So now we know 2 different ways to do that. Cool. Cool. Okay. Continue. What? Oh. Now she tells me we are making more. Continue trimming up for all 12 half square triangles. They should each measure 3.5 inches. Okay, so we're just going to make up the rest of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. I always like being able to trim up my squares if I'm doing this kind of half square triangle. Because to me it's very easy to get an imperfect sew when you're doing this. So that makes me happy. I don't have to worry about it being perfect if I know I'm getting to trim it up. Elsewise, you have no wiggle room. And if you don't have a little stick ruler like this, no big deal. Just use any ruler. It'd probably be easier then if you just had a regular ruler to draw the center line first, and then you could go 1/4 of an inch over and draw your sew lines. You don't have to have many of these gadgets. It just makes it easier when you do, but you don't have to. Well, when I first started, when I made my first quilt, probably my second too, all I had was a needle and thread and an ink pen and a pair of scissors. I must have had a ruler. I probably had this ruler. This was given to me by someone in my quilt group. And I drew on all my stitch lines and I hand stitched everything because I didn't even have a sewing machine yet. So you can do it with anything, with very little, very little. Don't let that discourage you. And then you can build up your notions as you progress if you want to. But literally, it was this. I bought this pair of scissors, a thread, and a needle from my local quilt store at the time. It's shut down right now. But yeah, asked my quilt leader lady to teach me how to literally thread a needle and tie a knot and how to do a stitch. I knew nothing, and that was 4 years ago. So if I can do it, y'all can do it. This marker here I'm using is water soluble, so it washes off. Like I said, when I first made my quilt, I was using an ink pen. I didn't have any of these fancy things, which it really doesn't matter if it doesn't come off if you're writing on the back of your fabric. And the first quilt I ever made, it's on a sew and tell. So many mistakes, so many lost points. But it was a sampler. I can't believe that's what they started me out on. They threw me right into the fire, and I did it. But I'll always keep that first quilt. I still love it. And of course, it's all brights. I hand-picked all of the fabric from the quilt shop myself. It wasn't a line or anything. Oh, okay, I need to flip these. Flip these and stitch on the other side. You don't have to cut them apart before you do this. Flip and go again, but I just do because it makes it easier for me. Oh, here's my side piece. Let's see how she looks real quick. I think I'm gonna do the method like she showed to trim all these. See how that goes before I press. Oh, I didn't even show you my block on the side. I'm making these with sewed up all of my scrappy 2.5-inch blocks that I had at the time I started this. I have no idea how many blocks this is going to end up being. And it's just the dog ears left. It probably is quicker. Probably more accurate too. Cool, I learned something new, y'all. Learned something new. Put this stuff out of my way. Get out of here. It's a lot of squaring up, isn't it? 12. Go ahead and cut them all in half. I could try to do more than one at a time by stacking them, but I don't think I want to risk that. Because that would be 4 layers of fabric, and my ruler could kind of move around on that. Slip sliding away, slip sliding away. finally got one of my meal kits cooked up today for lunch. I didn't like it. It wasn't great, and I'm disappointed. Usually I really like the meals I picked, but this one was just meh. I ate it begrudgingly. Sam didn't like it at all, so I gave the other serving to my mom. But 1 down, 2 to go. I put what I could have from the Hunger Root in the freezer, but I have to cook up those gobbles because those have a lot more. The Hunger Root stuff is basically just meat, so I can freeze that and do it later. The gobble stuff is there's a lot of veg that has to be made or it's gonna go bad. You've probably, if you watch my cookers, you've probably already seen the shrimp dish that from Gobble that I'm talking about. Hopefully the next one will be better. If you did see it, you'll see in the video I said, not my favorite. Not my favorite. Squaring up always takes, a beat to do. It can be time consuming, but it's totally worth it in the end when you see those squares coming together so perfect. It really is worth the time. Lori has square ups a lot. She does that a lot, which I like. It's difficult to square something up without a ruler though, so that should be your first investment. This guy's what I use the most. This is a 6.5 incher. I literally use the most of this one of any other ruler. It don't really matter the brand, just your personal preference. Just your personal preference. Okay, I gotta iron them now. I was gonna say we're done with that, but I gotta iron. Let me do a little singing entertainment for y'all whilst I iron. Mustang Sally. You want a concert? Girl, you better slow your Mustang down. Mustang Sally now, baby. Girl, you better slow your Mustang down. That's all I know. Those are hot. It won't take me long to press these. Not long at all. I'm pressing to the dark. The darker of the two fabrics is what that means. That's the general rule of thumb. Okay. Pretty as a picture. That is a lot of half square triangles, man. 12? Okay, let's work on the stripes now. We have 3 1.5 by 20 of our print and 3 1.5 by 20 of our background. Sew a 1.5 inch background strip onto each side of a print strip. So right sides together. We'll sew these two first. Check as you go when it's anchored to that needle that you have them lined up perfectly. Keep checking. Checking. Keep those doggies checking. Keep those doggies checking. Right. Okay, we're going to do the same thing again because the next strip is going to be like this, red, white, red. And the other one's going to be white, red, white. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter with this first two that we're doing, but after that, you got to make sure you've got the last one placed correctly. Got a bit of selvage on this. That's all right. I'll probably get it sewn up. Probably get sewn up in the seam. Again, anchor it with that needle, and then you can go back and make sure it's lined up right. Also try not to pull too much at it and stuff because you can stretch your fabric. Let me cut this back one off. Side piece, get out of here. Oh, I cut that so close to that stitch. A little too close for comfort. And I'm gonna also iron the piece that I just took off from the needle. There's my side piece. I'll press this to the dark again. Okay, this first one I was doing was the white, red, white. So I'm gonna add my other white strip on this side. This is an alternate way to do these blocks too, because we're going to be cutting these. So you could have made small squares and just put your little squares together, which would be, dozens, or sew strips and cut the squares from the strips. Most times there are many ways to do a block. As the saying goes, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Like, you can get there many ways. Okay, I'm going to press this one to the dark as well, this first strip. Iron it. And this is going to be the one that's red, white, red. This block reminds me of the Egg Money one, which is one of my favorites. So I was happy to see. I'm just looking at them right before I do the video, before I do my cutting. So I like to be surprised about what's next. I haven't looked ahead. I mean, I saw what the total quilt's gonna look like, but I didn't focus in specifically on what's every block detail. You know what I mean? I like to be surprised. Oh, I like to do those mystery blocks of the month and all that stuff so much too. And of course, subscription boxes in general are all about the surprises, which is the fun part for me. You never know what you're gonna get. Okay, I'm gonna cut this one off and press to the dark again. You'll need to cut, let's see, all of your segments are almost, well, what am I doing with them? Now, sew 2 print straps onto each side of the background. You'll need to cut 4 1.5 by 3.5 segments. I guess she means of each one. Wait, okay. No. Okay, I found it. This one is we're gonna cut 8 segments. One and a half by 3.5. So this itself is measuring 3.5. So I'm gonna cut 1.5 inch, 8 1.5 inch pieces off of this. 1, 2, and you see what we're left with? 3. A lot of jelly roll quilts patterns do this kind of thing. It's a great shortcut. 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my gosh, why'd she have us sew all this much up? I could have used those other prints. They were just like an inch short. That's a lot of extra. That's a lot of extra. I hate to waste like that. Maybe we're gonna use the rest in a minute. We'll find out. Let me get this one off. Yeah, I so could have used the red I wanted to if I'd known that. She told us at the very beginning, read through all the instructions first, and I never do. And it bites me in the butt. It bites me in the butt. I don't follow directions. Okay, I'm gonna press this one real quick. This one's gonna have some different cuts on it too. I'm going to set all those to the side. For this one, I'm going to trim the, well, nah, I don't guess yeah, I'm going to go ahead and trim that selvage piece off. All right, 4 1.5 inch segments. 1, 2, 3, for 3.5 by 3.5. 1, 2. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, this is getting close to the wire. Oh my gosh, I shouldn't have trimmed that selvage off. What? Oh my gosh, y'all, this is not big enough. It wouldn't have even been big enough with the selvage. That was just a sliver that I cut off. That was just that. This is 1/2 inch short. Oh, shoot. What the heck am I gonna do? She said I had you cut an extra segment in case you need it. Yeah, she's talking about how you could do it with 1.5 inch pieces too instead of strips. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure I need that before I freak out about it, because I'm not sure what she means about I had you cut an extra segment in case you need it thing. Maybe we don't need that. Let me just go and I'll come back. I'll figure it out. I could take this apart and cut one more red strip. So that's all right. I can fix it if I have to. So I'm thoroughly confused. Let me read this. Basically the steps of this, she's just telling us to do it and showing us the end result. So I'm gonna try to figure it out. You'll need to sew the strips together into 4 9-patch blocks like this. And then she shows the picture of them. These 4 segments should measure 3.5 inches. So I think they're like this. Four of these. Okay. She had us cut an extra one of these and made me short a whole block. I'm gonna be aggravated. Okay, nest your seams. Set that to the side. Set that to the side. Two. This is 3. And one more is 4. So yeah, I didn't have any extra of these pieces. So I'm not sure what extra she's talking about. I don't know what she's talking about. She's confusing me with talking about the alternate methods, and I'm like, which is my method? Yeah, I definitely need 4 of those. I definitely need 4 of those striped pieces, so I'm gonna have to figure something out. It was 20 inches long. That was, my cut was right. I don't know why I'm 1/2 inch short. I really don't understand how that happened. 4, 1.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 plus 6. Yeah, see, 17 plus 6 is 23. I don't know how that happened. All right, let's just sew our end piece on like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, it's 14 plus 6. It would have been exactly 6 with no wiggle room. And then I cut that selvage off, but it still would have been too short. So I don't know how I managed that. This much extra on the first one and this much short on the other one. That's frustrating. Yeah, I'll just rip that red out of the other one and add it to the other strip. I don't know. You'll know when you're cutting that. I've cut it over 20 for the white red one. So you don't end up like me. Oh, I have one here. Then we have our 9 patches. Just gonna press them. And we can start. I've got to fix this first though. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm gonna go cut some more stuff. You know what? I can probably make it from this. I'll show you how I'm gonna fix this. I'm just gonna rip this red out. Where is my... Rip a red strip. And I'll sew it to this. Voila, problem solved. So I guess it's a good, I did have extra of this one, huh? Here are these pieces, by the way, if you're curious. Okay, I'm going to take one of my whites off this. You can't see what I'm doing down here. I kind of hold this, I kind of push my belly up against this so I can have a good grip to pull. And then I just run my, you can't really see it in the camera, but I use my belly to hold onto the fabric while I rip a line. Now you know I'm going to cut those down in 1.5 inch. 1.5 inch squares for my scrap box. Okay, now I'm tempted to rip this all apart too and make 1.5 inch blocks out of it, but I just hate to waste stuff. But I don't know if I want to actually rip something to make scraps. I'm a little too lazy for that, so I'm going to sneak that into the garbage. Pretend it's not there. Okay, let me grab these, and now we can start building our quilt. Crisis averted. Crisis averted, y'all. Let me get my design board and we'll lay it out how it's gonna sew. Okay. Of course it's gonna be much bigger on here because none of the seams are on yet. So we'll have a little overlap on some stuff, you know. Just make sure you get all your rotations right. We've got these plain squares here too. Yeah, I'm definitely running out of room. I need big. I'm just gonna lay out the first 3 rows first. And then just know there are 2 more rows after this one. I'm just gonna lay out the first 3. Not even all of those. Uh-oh. What? No, that's right. Okay. Confusing myself. Okay, that's the first corner of it. So flip, flip. I'm doing this flip, and then I'll sew those. I'll put the next row on so I can sew those too. Flip, flip, flip. Nest your seams. See what I'm doing? See how they're nesting together? And then the last row would be this, this, and this square. I'm gonna set those to the side. 1, 2, 3. Now I'll do the bottom 2 rows. And then the last 2 will be these. I'll set those to the side. So again, flip, 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 and sew. If I wasn't doing this on video, I'd probably lay out my square here on my cutting board because it's big enough, but I'm wanting y'all to see, so that's why I'm breaking it up into pieces. So y'all can see what's happening easier. And hopefully I haven't messed up any rotation. Knock on wood. I don't even think he's done his chore yet. Going to the movies. I'm gonna make sure he does those dishes first. I'm gonna pull so I can have them all to lay out. Use an ender. I'm gonna try to get these in some kind of order. Okay, now I've just got to iron all these too. Here's my side piece. Now, again, we can kind of start laying some stuff out. It'll start fitting better a little bit since yeah, I actually got them in the right order as I ironed. Yay. We'll sew these together. Flip, flip, a flip. I'm flipping these seams because they're not nested. So I just made them so. It does make a twist in my seams, but lesser of two evils. Okay, then we have the bottom two. Nesting your seams not only keeps big bulks from happening, but it makes sure that your squares are aligned just perfectly at those intersections, seam intersections. So, two benefits of doing that. Now we just need to sew the end piece on every line. And then we can start putting our lines together. Still got one under the needle, so I'm gonna be one short for a second. All right, top line ends with that. Middle line ends with this. I mean, not middle line, next line. Middle line has a blank square. I'll do these three first. I'm gonna set that to the side. I don't know what to do with the end. I'm getting distracted. My mind's wandering. I was sitting there wondering, am I getting sick? I feel like I'm getting sick. And that is really inconvenient. Isn't it always? I feel like I'm getting a fever and I got a scratchy throat. I can always feel when I'm feverish in my face. Like it, you know, I feel the heat in my cheeks. Not with my hands, but like literally just, you know how like you drink wine and you start getting that warm, fuzzy feeling? That's similar to what it feels like for me when I feel like I'm getting a fever. Okay, we've got this next line and it ends with this. And the last line, it also ends with a half square triangle, like that. The design board, if you're curious, that's Lori Holt's as well. I bought that from Creative Notions, I'm pretty sure is where I got that. And just shopping online from her store, not the subscription box. I don't know why I just put that board up, but y'all, I'm telling you, my mind's wandering big time. I think it's good I take a break for a little bit. I'm getting absent-minded sitting here. Okay. I don't know why. I feel distressed about something and I don't know what. It's probably because I feel like I'm getting sick and that's very inconvenient. The anxiety is creeping up. Yeah, does that happen to y'all ever? You just start feeling anxious out of the blue and you're like, what the heck am I anxious about right now? I never used to be that way. This is something that's happened in the last, I don't know, 10 years. It started getting worse and just gets a little worse every year. If I can identify what it is that's making me anxious, usually I can make it go away at that point because I'm like, oh, okay, that's it. Well, I can't do nothing about that. Let's, distract myself. If I can just figure out what it is. There's the top 3 rows. Looks good so far, huh? So flip and sew. And then I'll do that with this row too. Flip and sew. I think I might need, I think I'm gonna pull out my pens because this has got a lot of things that, really need to line up good. So I'm just gonna take my pins and pin at the intersections. I want everything meeting as it should. What I mean by the intersections is the seams. See, pull this down. This line, this stitch line here, and this stitch line. Just make sure they are right together. And I have a little bit of extra that'll probably be trimmed at the end. My perfect seams made that happen, I guess. Not. A stiletto is a good thing to have too with sections like this. I use my fingernails because I've got some good nails going on. If I didn't, I would probably pull out my stiletto tool. And this helps you like ease little pieces of fabric and things like that through where you know you need a little extra sharp point. This. I'll use that a lot if I don't have nails. Nails are very helpful to me in sewing. Built-in stilettos. Now the same with this one. So here I'm doing the same thing again. Pinning at the intersections. This one's actually lining up really nicely so far. Slip, slide, and away. Holy gosh. Oh wow. See, this one lined up perfect. Now pull those off. There's the last line of defense. I need a lotion break. Put a little lotion on my hands. Okay, I'm gonna press these. It's lined up pretty good. Not too shabby. Well, that's obviously not right. Flip it. Flip it. There. That's right. Why'd I put those pins back? See, I'm just like getting so scatterbrained. Getting so scatterbrained. Ow! Watch out for those needles, man. I mean, pins. They're gonna get you. Got a little excess here. Make sure I got this lined up good. There's a little extra there. I'll put that on the bottom next to the feed dogs, and that'll help take up some of that extra slack. Make sure you pull your pins before it goes under the needle. I don't think I've hit a pin yet. Knock on wood, but I've definitely broke needles before. Just kind of, and you kind of get sideways with, especially if you got a lot of seams or stuff. I broke several needles. Oh, this side piece is finished. Let's pull another one. Do at least a couple more before we finish this. Oh, this one's done. It's weird. That's weird. Pretty good. Pretty good. Passable. Not perfect, but not bad enough I'd rip it out and go again. I don't think there's much I could do about what's not lined up, though. But so far, so good. Now we'll put the end on. Be our last step. And like that, just kind of pull your fabric down and you can see where you're supposed to be lined up. Pretty good. This is it, guys. It's the final countdown. It's the final countdown. say that movie was 7, so he wants to get there at 6. Oh, what a nutball. Grab an ender. Okay, I'm gonna get this pressed and we'll do a look-see. Wrong. I think I'll fix this row just by flipping it, but these are on here wrong. Or I need to flip this too. So, oh my gosh, you guys. See, the only reason this one's wrong is because I was going off this one that's on there wrong. So now I've got 2 wrong. So again, out comes Jack. Just when I think I'm done, it pulls me back in. You get it just right on there, you can just run it and it'll cut. Like that. Get a good rip going. Let me see. If I flipped it, yes, that would be right, going this way. But this needs to be flipped too. At least it's just the 2 lines and not individual blocks. Could always be worse. Could always be worse. This is easily fixable. You know, a show I was thinking today I needed to watch again, like binge it, watch all of them, is I Love Lucy. I don't think I've seen a lot of them over the years, but I don't think I've ever just sat down and watched all of them. And there was a clip on some Instagram video today. It was just hilarious. I think I'm going to watch those. I think I'm going to put them on my binge list. I Love Lucy. Funny show. I'm pretty sure this is going to be fixed by just flipping this, so. It's frustrating. This is why I guess I should have had it laid out on the big board. It was the clip of that show where she smuggles the 25 pounds of cheese on the plane as a baby so she doesn't have to pay for shipping fees. So it was pretty funny. There. Now that's right. So, same thing again. I was just going to do this all off camera and told y'all that I did it, but then I thought, well, maybe they want to see. I don't know. So let me know down below. Do you want me to film when I have to go back and fix something? Or just do it off screen and let you know and carry on? I figure some people want to see how to fix something sometimes. Most of y'all that are watching, I'm sure, are seasoned quilters and shaking your head in exasperation of me, but some people are new. Some people are actually newer than me or haven't started yet, so I'm trying to include them. Okay. I just hope I don't run out of bobbin or something. But I'm trying to fix this, but I'm gonna be aggravated if that happens. Okay, iron this. Hopefully things are still lined up good. They are. Thank goodness. Looks good. I wonder if this is the one where I felt like I lost. I think it is. There was one piece that I lost a point because I sewed the wrong side on. So yeah, I don't have to worry about that anymore. That was just about the only imperfection. I think there was one other imperfection. So it's fixing that at least. What you doing, Pee-Poo? Pee-Poo. Pee-Poo. What you doing? Investigating something suspicious? Oh, this rug's in a new spot. Is it a diamond? That's where it's all yikes. He has to carefully, quietly sneak up on something that shouldn't be in a spot that it's in. Isn't that right, Pee-Poo? He's a true scaredy cat. was right this time. Here's the side piece. I think we got it now. I think we got it now. There it is. I think it looks pretty good, said and done. I'm giving her a solid A, close to an A plus. She's close to perfection in my opinion. Everything's lined up good. There's this spot here that's not lined up perfectly, but I think that's just about the only one. So what do y'all think? Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Subscribe if you like to watch Sew With Me's, and I'll see y'all at the next one.